All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the Gigabyte StarsWar Killer Tournament number 6 here on IC Cup TV. I am Prodigy, and with me is Orb, and we've got Game 3 between NesTea and LoveCD lined up for you here, and it is going to be on Metalopolis. So what do you think we're going to see between these two players here?
Well, what I was talking about while you were gone is I really would not be surprised to see Colossus play from Protoss here. This map just has so many cliffs everywhere. It really makes it really beneficial to abuse that with Colossi with their extremely long range. You can attack into the gold base with a lot of ease, move up the cliff into people's mains, move down into the thirds. So it really creates a lot of advantages with that. And this map a little bit different from Lost Temple in that the middle is going to be a lot more closed off. Lost Temple, the middle is just giant empty field. Here we're going to see, of course, those Xel'Naga towers, the gold bases, and a lot more area for Protoss to kind of abuse force fields and abuse cliffs. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see him open up with some type of robo build after he gets to his second base, as of course he continues to go for those fast expansion builds. I would definitely expect to see that again.
Yeah, and I expect to see all-around solid Zerg play from NesTea. He's reasonably unpredictable in what build precisely he's going to do, but whatever build he chooses to do, he's going to do it very, very well. And with that, I've got this third game loaded up, so why don't we get it started?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to hit the play button in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so warping in here at the 9 o'clock base, we have Team Weehot is just his account name. That is LoveCD, our Chinese Protoss, as blue Chinese Protoss. And here at the 6 o'clock base, we have I am NesTea morphing in as our red Zerg. So we do have these close air positions here yet again. And one of the things that this is going to mean, besides the fact that, of course, drops will be a little bit quicker to execute, you have this Xel'Naga tower that's right between the two bases. And in these spawns, of course, that Xel'Naga tower essentially becomes a lot of who has map control, is who's controlling that Xel'Naga tower. You can just really see everything, any type of attack on the way, since that's the only way to walk through this map besides the other Xel'Naga tower, which of course you can cover as well, especially as a Zerg player with a Zergling at each one. So what do you think? What do you think we might see based on these spawn positions on this map, Prodigy?
Well, I really think that controlling that Xel'Naga tower, like you're saying, is going to be really key. It overviews the very central lane between these two bases, and it's definitely not out of the question that we could see this airplay or this air distance between these two bases come into play in this matchup, as NesTea has shown that he's not afraid to make a mute a cloud in this matchup. But both the players are going to have to be a little bit, or are going to have to play a little bit safely here, as their natural expansions are a little bit wider open. And one of the things I want to point out is that LoveCD actually just scouted the close ground position, and then immediately scouted the close by air rather than going for the cross position. And a little bit unorthodox, but you can kind of get away with that, as the timing is out on what could possibly show up with these positions here, as in the close by air positions. A little bit more really kind of tight, or rather than the cross positions, are a little bit wider, and you can get away with a little bit more stuff. So you can, again, get away with scouting with that probe a little bit later on.
Yeah, well, actually, I think he saw NesTea's Overlord come in, and that's why he decided to go over to that 6 o'clock base instead of going to that cross position after seeing that he wasn't at the 12 o'clock. But interestingly, he did send that probe around. I don't know, maybe he's going to set up some type of proxy pylon over here, or maybe he's just going to leave it out so he'll be able to scout later on in the game. That would definitely be a good decision, as often Zerg players, especially good Zergs like NesTea, are going to keep you contained with Zerglings and not allow you to go scout what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, so this will give him the ability to scout a little bit later on. No, he's actually just going to use this probe to scout NesTea's expansion timing. Maybe try to run the gauntlet up into the main base. No, he is just going to try to make its way back home. And these Zerglings have right-clicked this probe, so they will be able to chase that down. We can see that he actually did just right-click. And if you actually just attack move it, then I don't think the Zerglings actually hit it correctly. The pathing kind of screws up a little bit. You can see them swapping out between hits because he has right-clicked it. Just an interesting bug in the pathing there.
Yeah, What another really minor thing that's interesting is NesTea actually only has 2 on gas right now. I'm assuming that's on purpose, and he just doesn't want to dedicate as many drones to getting gas right now, and he has this timing set down, but of course could in theory just be a mistake. But probably going to be getting out those, that Zergling speed at a very specific timing that he likes for his expansion there. And that's something you don't really see unless you're at the highest level of play with these extreme timings that they've just gotten down for practicing these builds so many times.
Yeah, so LoveCD continuing to set up a choke here at his natural expansion. He's got a pretty solid wall, throwing down another cannon to prevent anything like a run-by. And NesTea, again, with that standard Zerg response to a force fast expansion, just take a quick third base. And a probe has snuck around the map to look for exactly this kind of play. He is going to be checking up here in the main base, as well as this natural expansion here to look for any potential hatcheries, or maybe he'll just stop, make me look bad. Throwing down a pylon here at the bottom of this pylon, and gives him power down at the bottom there so that he can close down some of the distance when he starts putting the pressure on. And now this probe is going to continue its scouting path, so he does not see a hatchery there. And will he continue to scout out this third base, or will he continue making me look like I don't know what I'm talking about? Or is
maybe he's going to set up a proxy
proxy
check there, yeah. Might see some proxy DT tech or something. This is really interesting. Hasn't dropped anything down, though. Maybe just waiting to scout again later. He does have quite a few gateways warping in at his base right now. I believe 5 total. And it does look like... it looks like he's trying to... Never mind. No. Selects his probe, moves it towards the edge.
Scouting is what would make... No, he is going to throw down a pylon here. StarsWar is going to completely miss it. Is he going to set up a proxy here? Is it going to get caught? This is kind of in a position where it might get caught by units running by there.
Zealots get caught by Zerglings in the middle of the map right now. A little bit of a misstep there by LoveCD. Trying to do some scouting with those Zealots. They do get caught by NesTea fairly easily, who actually I'm shocked is not holding the Zelnaga tower. But yeah, definitely setting up that proxy pylon to set up some warp gate harassment there on that third. I mean, he hasn't even scouted that there is a third, but he knows. That's how well he knows NesTea's play. That's how well he knows the good Zerg play. Obviously, he went for a quick Forge expansion. Zerg player probably going to be going for that third there extremely quickly. So Zealot's now moving up here. He does have another pylon to power the upper ground. Doing a bit of damage to these drones right here. Did take out 1 drone so far. There goes the second one. But Zerglings are on the way to deal with this, and Zealots are getting surrounded quite easily.
Yeah, the Zealots continuing to chop down the drones. You can see that he's killed off a ton of them already. You see 9
he has +1. I missed this. He actually does have +1 on the Zealots, which is why they're faring as well as they are versus the Zerglings. But NesTea continuing to produce units. More coming out for LoveCD, though. He's going pretty aggressive with this. Now starting to take the lead there. NesTea gonna need something. We do have 12 roaches in production, but he might lose this third in that time. Unless he's very baller with his micro on these Zerglings, which unfortunately, well, he might delay them enough to get those roaches out. It's possible, but it looks like LoveCD's gonna be able to take out that hatchery in time. And a cannon going up as well. Trying to take this defensive position, not allowing NesTea to take it. So he needs to fall back to the cannon. There's really no reason to be fighting there without that hatchery there anymore. And now he's gonna get overrun by these roaches. So really great play by LoveCD there, taking out that third. Unfortunately, just a little bit of a misstep there at the end. Could have been a little bit more efficient with his units, but now he's in a really good position. He's even on Harvesters, and it's 2 base versus 2 base versus a Zerg, who hasn't even started a lair yet. So that's definitely a great position to be in as a Protoss player. And yet we do see that Twilight Council getting Blink right now, so it's just going to be going for those gateway units still.
Yeah, very similar to what we saw in Game 1, but LoveCD isn't making the same mistake that he made in Game 1, where he just didn't apply enough pressure, didn't do enough damage early on. This time, he was able to actually take out that third expansion with that attack, rather than have that attack shut down. So, pretty much the exact same kind of style that we saw out of LoveCD in that first game, but this time it's panning out for him much, much better. NesTea right now is about 30 supply over LoveCD. This is right around the timing that we see the Zerg player get around 30 to 40 supply ahead. And it is the timing where Protoss players tend to try to put on a little bit of pressure, and that's exactly what we saw with LoveCD. So this game so far has gone pretty much by the books of what you would expect for both of these players to do. in their particular situations. This third expansion from NesTea is just about to complete. He's got some of these drones distance mining. The reason he's doing this is because both of his expansions are completely saturated, and there's no point in having those drones hanging out there as they wouldn't really be doing anything else. So this is still helping him to bolster his income, and then when that hatchery finishes, like we do see, they'll get right back to work directly. Now, Blink has completed, and LoveCD is moving out. I accidentally tapped my spacebar and throw the camera off. But a lot of stalkers on the field right now. 18 stalkers with 4 more. Yeah, 4 more. I thought that was 3 for a second. On the way, and he's going to be going up against 13 roaches and 34 zerglings and counting. We'll have to see if his Blink micro is going to be enough this time, as the last game, or in game 1 I should say, was just barely not quite enough. Observer's going to be able to have him blink onto the high ground.
There it is. All these Zerglings coming up, though. He's got to be really careful with these stalkers. He doesn't want to get surrounded and just get destroyed here. He essentially wants to just blink back out of this base, not just move these units out of here. You really just want to lose these stalkers. Every stalker he loses is just making this strategy a lot less powerful. If you lose your stalkers when you do this strategy, it really hurts you coming into the mid-late game. He's blinking them down pretty well, doing a pretty good job. And now the reinforcements are coming. He's actually doing really well versus NesTea's roaches. Those reinforcements really changed the fight there. NesTea's Zerglings out of position right there in the middle of the map. Now coming in with drones and Zerglings try to deal with this, but not going to work that well versus stalkers with a blink, of course. NesTea getting caught a little off guard here. Although he is, I mean, he's barely holding it, but he's losing tons and tons of drones at this point.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the unit count right now, still got 47 drones compared to the 53 of LoveCD, but LoveCD is still more cost-effective at this point, and forcing NesTea to lose mining time every time he pulls those drones off the line. And NesTea's doing nothing but producing drones or Zerglings at this point, and LoveCD is able to blink away from those. The Roach Warren is going to get taken out in a second here. As there it goes, Queen's also being taken out, and LoveCD is in excellent position to take this game, as NesTea is down about 50 supply to LoveCD. Does have really just no economy at this point. And
there's really no way for him to come back and produce the units necessary here. I mean, that many stalkers, you need such a large army to deal with that many stalkers, or you need fungal, and without either, it's in a really bad position right here. I mean, at the middle of this game, I was worrying for LoveCD in the position that he was in, and I was thinking, he should try something with DT harassment or something, since NesTea hasn't been defending against DTs or detection at all. But I mean, he's essentially taken this game. There it is, the GG. Took that game with that Blink Stalker usage. So, I mean, if you think back to what happened in that game, it really all came down to taking out that third base of NesTea. He went for that really quick third because he saw that Forge expansion. And LoveCD was able to macro up and get himself a really nice timing with that hidden pylon to take out that third right before NesTea got his roaches out. He had like 12 roaches on the way. Unfortunately, wasn't able to save that third base. And that loss in macro right there really was what set him behind enough that LoveCD was able to hit with this 1-1 timing push and beat NesTea up on upgrades and up on micro.
Yeah, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. LoveCD, the dark horse in this tournament, takes down what people generally have been considering might be one of the best Zerg players in the world with Blink Stalkers. And that is no small feat whatsoever. NesTea is a very, very strong force, not to be reckoned with. And he takes the series 2-1. And next up, we're going to have Hongun Prime versus Liquid TLO. So stay tuned with that. We're going to be taking about 5-minute break between this game. So go to the bathroom, grab some food, things like that. Tell your friends, and we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Once again, you guys are watching the Gigabyte StarsWar Killer Tournament number 6 here on IC Cup TV. I am Prodigy, and with me is Orb. And this tournament's got a pretty huge prize pool, about $8,100 in the prize pool. Once you convert all the currencies and whatnot, first place is going to be walking with about $6,100. Second place with about $1,500, and third with the remainder. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes with this third game, HongunPrime.we versus Liquid TLO, the little one, the infested Terran. Protoss versus Terran. We'll be right back.